balance, cause we are looking forward to seeing you then.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning to Uganda. Thank you so much for tuning in to UBC TV as your preferred television. Now, we are here to inspire you every single day, 24 hours, 7 days a week, and 31 days a month, especially for the month of August. That is our commitment to you. My name is Priscilla Nalwoga, and welcome to Good Morning Uganda. Our mission today is very, very simple. We want you to know before you are on the go, and that's what we're going to be doing across now until 9 a.m. this morning. But I'm going to be informing you about the no so that you can go with Felix Nkunda and Robert Kirabo. Good morning to you, Felix.
Good morning, Priscilla. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
It is another beautiful morning. Wonderful, of course, with weather is a bit changing. So much rain most recent, and probably the people are again worried. Having looked at the international climate conditions and participations that actually we did have this week, when the UN came out with that report, that is quite worrying. The worry is these floods that are happening in different countries. You look at heat waves, and we're going to see any of these things in Kampala one of these days because of these rains. They rain for about over 6 hours. Now that is also unprecedented. But either way, we're here alive and kicking.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you this Wednesday morning. Also joining us for Good Morning Uganda today is Robert Kirabo. Good morning to you, Robert.
Good morning, Priscilla, and of course, good morning everybody who has woken up with us, those in Uganda, those in diaspora, and wherever you are. It could be your hotel room, it could be your bedroom, your sitting room. Thank you so much for choosing to start your morning with us. Priscilla, there's so much happening, but COVID has robbed us of a number of things. Yesterday, I was along Entebbe Road when our champions were returning from Tokyo. And I would see how Ugandans were very excited. But unfortunately, because of COVID-19, they couldn't move closer to the vehicles. Actually, one man attempted just to touch the vehicle. He thought that would just of Chiptegei, where Chiptegei was moving. He felt maybe that would, but security almost clobbered him. So I was like, oh, Uganda, globally we are known to be receptive people, happy people, very welcoming people, but I would see how people are excited, but their joy was being limited because of the pandemic COVID-19.
Yes, of course, you do understand they will be having a meeting later on with the president to officially receive them back. So security in terms of health is also a guru. Anyway, it's not just the three of us that actually do Good Morning Uganda. Molen Kenyana is going to be joining us in the next hour for more on weather and nature, and also to answer the queries of the heat wave that has swept Canada, USA. It is affecting Tokyo, and how far is it going to be before it comes and affects Africa, more so Uganda. And also Ruben Pima Chivirango is going to be giving us sports update, and most exciting, of course, the return of the Olympians, but also how Express FC is actually doing a tremendous job, not just here locally, but also in the Sekafa Kagame Cup as they have reached the finals. So that is how full this morning is going to be for you. As we start off, we get to look at the last 24 hours and the stories that have actually been talking points. And then thereafter in our newsreel, we're going to be discussing a matter of electoral petition importance and closing the chapter on the elections that we held earlier on this year. And of course, we have to look at the tabloids. What are they saying? Contradictory or complementary? I don't know. We will find out then. Traffic will be coming through, and Molen will come in shortly with weather. Then we'll have our Good Morning Uganda agenda. And after that, sports update will be crowning up your morning with us on Good Morning Uganda. But before we get into the meat of the show, something has struck me very interesting. We have Lionel Messi having left Barcelona as of last Thursday. He was no longer with Barcelona for reasons that I'm pretty sure Ruben has done a good job letting people know. But looking at the character and the stature of the player that he is, he's a historical player for the club that he has left. He's now in France with Paris. PSG. He has just done a medical test, but in him doing the medical test, he was wearing the PSG jersey and it had Visit Rwanda at the back, and that struck me as, is there something we don't understand in this whole business of marketing and you know, trading on sports to actually market a country? So Felix, I watched this video with you and you had sentiments around this particular conversation.
Well, of course, that speaks into the intention and the purpose of how countries or different administrations view opportunities. For example, what are we investing in terms of tourism as a country? Between you and me, I would say nothing. Nothing. Even when you talk about the tourism ambassadors, what support does the government give them to push their ambassadorship, to sell the country? Nothing. You know, why do they have a budget? You know, what's the plan? Nothing. But countries like Rwanda and many others, by the way, they position themselves. Let me tell you, between you and me, the impact of Messi putting on a jersey, behind it in bold letters that has Visit Rwanda. That alone will pay off whatever money they paid to PSG. Come to Arsenal. So I feel that these guys in these ministries and these institutions are not doing justice. They are taking what we have as a country for granted. Like, it's just like when you have, like we have a cow, and you're comfortable with a cow giving you, say, about 2 liters of milk, yet it's supposed to give you 20 liters. You're only comfortable with the 10%.
It has the potential of giving you the 20 liters,
but for you,
but you have to actually give it the right food, the right environment.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what kind of food are you giving it? How are you treating it? Where does it stay? When does it rest? All these things. So you're comfortable with not giving it anything as long as you're taking the 2 liters. Yet if you actually put some work, you could get about 20 liters of milk. That's where we are as a country, and that's sad and quite demotivating.
Okay, we've talked about leveraging on tourism. Rwanda is a very small country. It's not even half Uganda.
And not with much even tourism sites.
That's where I was going. It has half our population, and they don't even have much in tourism to offer. But the little that they have, I think one of the best selling point for them are the gorillas, which gorillas, by the way, cross from Uganda to go to Rwanda. And then celebrities go to Rwanda to name gorillas at a cost that is in millions of dollars, which is revenue back to the country. So they're using the little resource that they have to actually market. And they're getting so many, you know, deals like Visit Rwanda appearing on the Arsenal jersey, and now the PSG jersey, appearing on Messi. Messi is a hot cake right now. He's a talking point right now. Everyone who's saying Visit Rwanda is asking themselves, what is Rwanda? Where is Rwanda? They'll go to Google and search in Rwanda, and then they'll get to know things about Rwanda, and they will have interest in Rwanda. And guess what?
Can you imagine?
It's going to boost.
When you look at that photo, you have players like Neymar, Mbappe, Leo Messi, Di Maria, Ramos now. Now, their countries of origin are interested, because there are people who have supported these individuals and are interested in whatever they are interested in. Now, that's the level at it.
Yeah.
Tell me,
the
only thing you're talking about here is Manya Bobo, Manya Rolex. Who cares?
You've gone very far.
Priscilla, I love...
talked about we're receiving the Olympic team today, and the best they're going to do is meet the president for a thank you, and that's...
Priscilla, did you see how they were welcomed back to Uganda? They lined up some old fleet of cars. You saw a 1998 Range Rover, and Benz, and then all they could do is, you know, marketing is how, you see, some of these people, for example, let me give an example, people who know sports. When you go to like UK, they will get a player like Wayne Rooney because he's from that country, player like Beckham. Now, the tabloids will be instructed to write everything good in real life, in fiction, and even in heaven about that person for a full week. Now, you have 2 gold medals. Countries that, like South Africa have 1 gold medal, but you can look at the tabloids about how they're writing about it. You cannot even consistently write about this for a full week. All TV stations should be instructed to show these people, give them a press conference.
Replays of the,
all
the
these
journey
things.
that they've
Well,
had.
Felix has said
So,
it very well. I think
sad.
Uganda, we have so much potential. And for me, what hurts me is that tourism over time has proved that even with a little that you're investing in, it still remains one of the leading earners of foreign exchange in this country. That is tourism. Yet what is hurting is that we have so much that other countries don't have that we can market. One time I was speaking to the minister by then, Godfrey Chwan, and I told him, when you go to Nairobi, just at the airport or anywhere, you see these Maasais that dress code every billboard. Come to Uganda, what will welcome you is MTN, what, at the airport.
You know,
their tallest buildings will have that.
Company,
one of our tallest buildings that is known as Uganda House has something of a brewing company, I want to mention, very big, that wherever you are, you can see that. So I believe we have so much potential. Uganda, we are blessed that other countries don't have that.
It doesn't help to have potential if you're not milking it.
Yeah, then second, tourism with the minimal resources invested has proved. So you don't have to do even so much research and science. You know that, okay, if maybe with a few billions we are putting in, we can be able to reap this much, then that means this should be our #1 priority. Unfortunately, this may not be. And sometimes even when they try, they get priorities wrong. Felix and Priscilla, I want to tell you, the Mama Awards, when they were coming to Uganda, we invested 10 billion Uganda shillings into this. Because of COVID and issues, we didn't have the Mama Awards. Maybe we shall have them sometime. So even when you have little money, how are you investing? How are you getting your priorities right? To me, that is the only problem. I think the problem is in Uganda, we have a lot of dealers. and that's why Uganda, a country, no, honestly, that's why a country like Uganda ends up having things like Mama Awards, where it doesn't even know the concept of Mama Awards. Now, the problem, we have a lot of dealers in the corridors of power. You have Kirabo, you bring some good deals like those ones, or visit Uganda, because there's everything here. Honestly, like we had Kanye West come down here. How did we use that as the beacon of tourism? Then you come and name the tourism ambassadors.
Can you?
The only thing you want to trade is what? Those competitions that are for fat people are called?
The beauty pageants.
Miss Kavi. and the minister was happy. Yes, but
start smiling, and the best way to start smiling is by trying out the Hallelujah ginger tea drink and tamarind drink. It's all very, very affordable at 1,500 shillings in the Kiosk supermarket. You can start off the day, boost your immunity, and get ready to have a good, healthy day. But good morning, Uganda. This conversation can continue, so be a part of the conversation. The line is appearing on your screen, WhatsApp, and you can let us know how you feel, your sentiments about how best we can market our very own here in Uganda, vis-a-vis the conversation we've just had about Visit Rwanda appearing on Leon Messi's jersey for PSG. Away from that, continue with us into the morning by following us and streaming live on our social media platforms on YouTube, UBC Television Uganda, and then on Facebook, that is UBC TV. But also these conversations are going to be coming to you live in type black and white at UBC. We get to now handle the last 48 hours, 24 hours, and what has actually been the talking point.
We begin with looking at the return of our Olympians who made it at the Tokyo Olympics, where they won us gold, silver and bronze. That is after triumph at the Tokyo with a record of 4 medals. That is Uganda Olympic team arrived in the country yesterday. The team was received by officials of the National Council of Sports and Ministry of Education and Sports at Entebbe International Airport. Joshua Cheptegei won gold and silver. Pelth Cheptegei won gold, while Jacob Chiplimo won bronze at the Games. Ministry of Education and Sports promised more prioritization of athletics.
The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has realized a 61% recovery of the total amount of money being injected in different youth development ventures. Commissioner in charge of youth and children at the ministry, Mondo Chateka, while launching a report on the future of Africa's agriculture on the role of youth and technology by Haifa International, urged young people to tap into government-generated poverty alleviation projects. The government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, has projected several ventures to empower youth and other vulnerable class of people as a strategy to achieve financial inclusion. These ventures are introduced and involve money. However, the concern remains on channeling the fund's non-productive projects.
Away from youth empowerment, we now head to relationship between Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo, where 36 Congolese fishermen out of the 143 who were detained at different prisons in Uganda since 2019 were released. They were handed over to the Democratic Republic of Congo security at Uganda-Kasindi border. It follows talks where Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi and Ugandan counterpart Yoweri Museveni signing at the sideline the implementation of regional cooperation diplomacy. The president of the Association of Congolese Fishermen operating on Lake Edward, Mbusa Kavashe, said the release of the fishermen is a result of diplomatic efforts carried out at Chisasha, combined with pleas from local organizations working on Lake Edward. Speaking to the released suspects at Mpondwe border, that is Uganda and Congo border, Uganda ambassador to Democratic Republic of Congo, James Mahimba, revealed that the decision follows instructions by the two presidents who asked authorities along the territories to scrutinize the suspects. He warned the Congolese to stop entering Ugandan waters without clearance. Brigadier Michael Nyara told UBC that Marine have arrested undersized nets from Congo, boats and engines which are always handed back, although the Congolese buy what violates Ugandan rules.
COVID-19 vaccination exercise has started in different parts of the country, with many people turning up for the vaccination. The exercise in some areas started late due to delays in the delivery of vaccines. In Kampala, 15,000 COVID-19 vaccines have been dispatched in different parts of the metropolitan region for vaccination. At the KCCA headquarters, vaccination exercise has kicked off, but then the exercise has been challenged with overwhelming numbers, with medical workers being fewer. At other vaccination centers, the vaccines are still delayed. The overwhelming numbers at different vaccination centers made it difficult to observe standard operating procedures like social distancing, which scared some people who had come for the vaccination.
Ugandans are eager to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Most of the places I moved through, still there was congestion. People were so many turning up for this. And of course, we can't forget to remind the teachers that one of the requirements is that you must get vaccinated if you're to go back and teach. So take advantage of this time. In case you didn't get vaccinated and you're a teacher, you have evidence, it is open. Then those receiving their second jab, you're also welcome. And those with comorbidities, once you have your documents, it may not be your second jab, you're still welcome to go to these gazetted centers to avoid the repeat of the 800, you know. let's have our own arrangement.
And we hope we want to be having water distributed once again. Okay, so on the international scene, we do have some countries and some states in the USA, Alberta to be exact, that is choosing to realize that COVID-19 is going to be here for a long while. So rather than fight against it, they are finding alternative ways to start living with it. And these are some of the stories that are actually introducing us to the international scene with Felix Nkunda.
Well, of course, related to that, we'll be looking at New York Governor, that is Andrew Cuomo, resigns in a wake of harassment report. Now, in New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo has also resigned after an inquiry found that he sexually harassed multiple women, prompting efforts to remove him. The best way I can help now is if I step aside, he said, while continuing to deny the claim. The resignation will take effect on in 14 days. Now, that is Lieutenant Governor Kathy, the Deputy Governor, that is Kathy Hochul, will become the first woman lead New York State there. And Mr. Cuomo had been facing pressure to resign from fellow Democrats, including President Joe Biden. Just a year ago, he was basking in adulation as millions of Americans turned in daily to his no-nonsense televised briefing on coronavirus pandemic. Mr. Cuomo will be the third New York governor to leave office in a row. Now, in the independent investigations, the New York Attorney General office found that Mr. Cuomo, who is 63 years, has sexually harassed 11 women, including the state employees. Well, of course, still international stories. Now we'll cross over to the sports story where we see Leo Messi signs 2-year contract with Paris Saint-Germain after leaving Barcelona. Now, Leo Messi finally signed his eagerly anticipated Paris Saint-Germain a contract on Tuesday night to complete the move that confirms end of a career-long association with Barcelona and sends PSG into a new era. Now, PSG said in a statement that the 34-year-old Argentina star signed a 2-year deal with the option for a third season. Of course, he did come out to say, I am excited to begin a new chapter for my career at Paris Saint-Germain. Everything about the club matches my football ambitions. I know how talented the squad and the coaching staff are here. I am determined to help build something special for the club and the fans. I'm also looking forward to stepping out into the pitch at the Parc des Princes. Now, still looking at international stories, crossing back to Africa, we're looking at South Africa's court postponed Zuma's corruption trial to September. And South Africa court has agreed to postpone a long-delayed corruption trial against jailed former president, that is Jacob Zuma, to September 9th, following his hospitalization last week for an undisclosed medical condition. Now, Zuma, whose jailing term will last for at least 15 months on a separate contempt court matter, led to a wave of looting unrest and was expected to appear in court on Tuesday in a 2 billion shillings armed deal corruption case that led to sacking of South Africa's deputy president in 2005. Well, of course, for me, my choice of story will definitely be back the story of Lionel Messi and definitely the power of talent, the power of things that we never consider. Maybe this should be something for us to learn. And together as a country, because we can't do much individually, we can focus on the things that probably are not about politics, are not about the line of education. Not that any of them is bad, but there's so much we are missing because we have chosen to keep our eyes away from some of these things. Yes, Priscilla.
You know, when your statement has really just scratched my head, and I wish I could have this conversation into a 7 o'clock hour. I'm now thinking, what would it take to, just look at football? I think it's the biggest here in Uganda. What would it take to get professionals to actually give intense professional training to our Ugandans here, and then they can get better deals, because it's what you deliver that actually attracts who can afford you or who can't afford you. And so it's a big tickle, you know.
Take the will.
Take the win.
That's all it takes. The will to do that.
Okay.
Uganda, we are not in lack of anything. It's all
that's
about
true.
having the will, getting our priorities right, and we are good to go.
Well, good morning, Uganda. This is Babs International from Fort Portal, Tourism City. Rwanda knows what it's doing in terms of branding itself in European countries. I swear we don't have sports lovers in our so-called abanene mu government, instead of investing money on sports, they are investing in Lumbuye. Who is Lumbuye in Uganda? Okay, it's a very interesting one. There's another message. They renovate Nambole Stadium first, and that is a national stadium. Really, FUFA is filled with mafias. They don't know what they are doing apart from enjoying your money. Okay, all right. So I believe this conversation not only touches us, but it also is touching the people that are watching Good Morning Uganda. To the tourism city, Babs, continue making that marketing for Fort Photo. But continue with us as we start off the next hour with our newsreel, in which we are going to be discussing election petitions. And our poll question that we want you to participate in is very simple. Who is to blame for the election, for the wrongs in the election process? Who is to blame for the wrongs in the election process? The WhatsApp number that will appear on your screen is the one you send us a message on, and we'll be able to check it out later on. And that is our poll question. Who is to blame for the wrongs in the election process? Hashtag UBCGMU. You can join the conversation equally on Twitter at UBCTV Uganda. From here, we'll leave you with the song of the day, and we will see you in 7 o'clock.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by
Authentically symbolic and insightful.
We should work so hard to evacuate this power.
Behind the Headlines, every Wednesday at 10 p.m. with Charles Odong Top.
was brought to you by
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Century Points when you deposit, send, and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communication sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Echa COVID-19 kijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
Uganda, today is a great day to work towards your dreams. Dial *185 *7# and select savings to save as low as 500 Ugandan shillings on regular savings or 250,000 Ugandan shillings for fixed deposits. Airtel Money Super Saver is powered by KCB Bank Uganda. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless. T's and C's apply.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning to Uganda. Thank you so much for joining us into our 7 o'clock hour. My name is Priscilla Nalwoga and this is our newsreel. Joining me for the newsreel discussions is Robert Kirabo, Felix Nkunda to digest a very interesting matter of election importance this time around. On the 14th of January 2021, Uganda went to the polls and made decisions about who would lead them for the next 5 years, from the presidential elections to parliamentary elections and all these other election processes that we had to go through. However, much as reports came out to say that this time around, more than any other election ever held in this country, the elections this time around were more free and fair. However, some people had a query into how free and how fair that was. And now we have 155 petition cases pending in court. Please consider that also COVID-19 has altered the way the judiciary system has been operating in the year 2021, which has caused a lot of backlog in completion of this election process. And now we have received news that 1.2 billion shillings, has been allocated to the judiciary to be able to complete the process of closing these election petition processes. You do have 32 judges and 15 court circuits that have been allocated in different parts of the country to be able to handle this. Now, a poll question that we want to hear from you is very, very simple. Who is to blame for the wrongs in the election process? Who is to blame for the wrongs in the election process? Is it Electoral Commission? Is it ourselves, our members of parliament? Is it the law? Who is to blame? Hashtag UBCGMU, and you can send us a WhatsApp on the number that will appear on the screen, or on Twitter at UBCTV Uganda. And I will pose that exact question to Felix Nkunda. With your pedigree in law. Wow. The question I want to start with, what is justice and who is justice for in reference to these electoral petitions?
Yeah. Pedigree. So here's the thing. When you talk about justice as a whole, you're simply talking about the principles of fairness. Right? Now, you would want to evoke the principles of fairness in an unfair situation or game, because between you and me, politics has no definition of fairness, and that's why the question is, whose justice? Whose justice should it be for election petitions? Honorable Kirabo has lost an election because of ABCD. He goes to court seeking whose justice? That's the bigger question. And that's where most of these election petitions have blundered. I'll give you an example. When Honorable Kantinti of Chaddondo was thrown out of parliament, in the race, someone called Kyagulanyi Ssentamu then joined and won the election to become member of parliament for Chaddondo East, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the question, and yet Honorable Kyagulanyi was not the petitioner. It was not because of Kyagulanyi's petition that Katinti was thrown out of, whose justice was being sought. I don't know if you try to... You see, there's a big mistake in how justice is offered, how justice is sought, and who is the beneficiary? Yes, the end utilizer of this so-called justice these people are trying to seek. First and foremost, what is the purpose of an election? Because that would make us understand or give us the true carved purpose of these petitions. An election is first and foremost fulfillment of a constitutional mandate. Let someone not lie you that it's about good leadership. It is purposely, for a start, about fulfillment of a constitutional mandate. Now, once that is done, second, that's in fact, if most of these people, they quote that, it's the start of it. Secondly, legitimacy of the people who stands has been set. For example, that someone, for example, as a parliament, that the person should be at least have sat, is it USCE? S6, okay, let's call it S6. And of course should be a Ugandan, should have no criminal record. Now, are they petitioning on constitutional grounds to start with? Because remember, this is we have said to understand the purpose of an election, you start that side. Constitution. So are the petitions are they constitutionally based? That Honorable Kirabo has 7 criminal records, yet he is now member of parliament. Now, after the constitutional grounds, you go to what we call election grounds, if you want to call them. That they are grounds that are a result of electoral processes. For example, abuse of electoral process, which may include, people can call it malpractice, staffing, technical, all these things. Some people said they were not allowed to vote. All these now, those are technicalities. That's why the poll question is asking, who do we blame for these things? Is it us, the electorate? Is it the person who is suing? Or is it the people who is, or the people, the team that is tasked to exercise and fulfill the constitutional mandate? Who is like, who should bear this burden? That is the Electoral Commission in this case. Now, when you sue, and the effect of an institution is going to be clobbered onto the entire nation, the question comes back to what we are saying: whose justice are you seeking? Should we be questioning the procedures or the roles and how work is done by this institution? Shouldn't we be, you know, for example, every after 5 years, how many cases, if you have it on record? Over thousands of cases, every after 5 years. Doesn't this speak a lot about the kind of person who's handling the election process in the country? You know, for example, every after 5 years, there has been recommendation from the Supreme Court in relation to presidential election petitions, and the same springs as far as 2006. The BCG, Museveni Electoral Commission, 2021, same recommendations, 2016,
yes.
2021. Only at this time it was bastardized and it was pulled out.
And none of them has been transformed into implementation.
None of them conclusively. Now, that would mean that some of the recommendations of court, and by the way, it's talking about presidential election petitions, but talk about parliamentary, there have also been recommendations by the High Court and the other courts in the same jurisdiction. But the question is, if probably we first pause this whole litigation thing and revise the recommendations, maybe that can help us reduce the rate of political litigation, which is useless.
The next election,
Last, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
You saw the issue of Katolu Bwama. He served 5 years and he left Parliament. Up to today, the matter has not been
settled.
Whose justice
is it?
Is it still justice if it doesn't make sense in real time? Someone is being petitioned, Honorable Kirabo, and is in Parliament. He's serving. The Honorable Katinti, he got money for the car, he got payment, and he was thrown out. Now the MP who came again was given the same. Whose justice? Is it for the electorates, or even the people who seek it, or for the country?
Okay, this is where I'd like to engage Robert Kirabo. If we are to backtrack back to the whole election process and the aftermath on what actually is eligible for a case to constitute as a petition, an election petition case, what are some of those fundamentals that should be in it?
Well, and I think this is greatly going to help us answer our poll question this morning, because we shall look at the grounds and then cast the blame. According to the laws that govern electoral petitions in this country, these are the grounds: non-compliancy, for instance, where the court is satisfied that the election has been conducted in a way that is contrary to the provisions of the Act and guidelines. So that is first the manner. Then the second ground is that a candidate other than the one elected won the elections. If a wrong person has been declared, I say that, well, we have evidence that Robert Kirabo won this election, but his victory was robbed, and you gazetted, announced another candidate. Then that there were illegal practices. That is also another ground. There were illegal practices, and detailed in the law gives exactly what it refers to. For example, if there was bribery, there was persons who are not eligible to vote, voting, publication of false statements, obstruction of voters, impersonation, among others. Then finally, the candidate was at the time of his or her elections not qualified to be a member of parliament. That is on grounds of academics. So when you look at these grounds as clearly stipulated in the law, that gives you a proportion to know. For example, if a person wasn't qualified, that is, they didn't have senior 6 or the equivalent, that then, does it go to the Electoral Commission? Issues of bribery. If a person comes out and says that, yes, Priscilla Nalwoga, on such and such a date, where you met voters and maybe gave them this amount of money to vote for you, can that blame go to the Electoral Commission? Does it speak to the person standing for that particular post, or even the morals of the people that, okay, welcomed this? So you find that, yes, there could be challenges with the Electoral Commission. That is something we cannot withstand. But also when you look at elections held, for example, parliamentary elections, and you have elected and declared members 529. Then you have 155 petitions. what percentage is that of the job that the Electoral Commission has done?
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's look in terms of percentages. Because it is easy to say that this, even in the US, even in developed countries, you still have electoral petitions that go to be heard and then judgment is carried out. So what percentage of this? Then when you look at the previous elections, how many of these ended in the Electoral Commission having mismanaged? You'll find that a couple were removed from Parliament, one, some of them, academic qualifications. Others, bribery. Actually, when you find that in these petitions, many of them that I've had a chance to look at, for example, I saw that of Rubaga for Mukasa laws just and all that. I saw one regarding a former minister. That most of people are pointing at issues of bribery, which is more of a moral fabric. That where bribery is conducted, Priscilla, officials of Electoral Commission may not be there. This is where a Felix Nkunda may meet voters and says at night, I'm bringing sugar, I'm bringing soap, I'm bringing this. Then give me your vote. It amounts to that. So that speaks to the moral fabric. Then you'll find that, okay, the practices are still in these petitions where someone is believed to have maybe run away with the boxes. And then the Electoral Commission says with this percentage you can declare. So someone goes to court. So when you're looking at this blend, it's kind of cross-cutting. And when I give you the work being done in terms of percentages, you see that electoral petitions, we even have those that are dismissed at the hearing because it doesn't hold grounds. You know, when you have a constitutional right in Uganda, and I don't know what Felix can say, we have so many people that are like, because it is provided for.
Misused.
It's misused.
Yes, uninformed, actually.
Uninformed.
Yes.
A person just says no to get in court. We go to court. Next thing is going to court without really wondering and thinking twice of the implication of these petitions.
Or even you really the ground of what they're trying to petition for.
So they focus more on it's my constitutional right. So I'm very happy that yes, 16th, that is next week, the judges are going to commence the listening to these petitions, and I guarantee you're going to find that many of them may not hold substance. At the end of the day, the people will remain in Parliament and will be declared rightfully elected by the voters. But the issue of whose justice also, I think it goes back to the electorate. If, for example, I go to court, because the law is very clear, that a person who participated in this election, maybe one of the contestants, or a concerned person within that constituency, with not less than 500 signatures, can still petition. So I can do it in public interest. I don't want to stand. I'm not looking to contest in case that election was nullified, but I'm doing it for public interest.
Thank you so much, Robert.
You see, about the same thing, the issue is not about who does it. It's about what's the purpose for litigation. You see, the law must be a tool of aid to either apprehend criminality or to cause positive change in society. That's why when you go to criminal, they will tell you it's supposed to be for punishment, deterrence,
correction.
Yes. So the law must have a purpose, and that's what we are questioning about this whole thing. That what is the end purpose in petitions that are electoral? Because one, the Parliament disregards a petition because it goes ahead to swear Honorable Kirabo. If we say that people who are still going to court
should
not, because
which would then trickle
them
them to actually make the process
less cumbersome. But I've given an example of a honorable who has served 5 years yet in court. Now the question is, why are you wasting these resources? Because then even if you give the verdict now, does it serve the justice?
No, it's not serving the justice.
The cost of these petitions on Ugandans, it goes back to Ugandans. Parliament last week spent billions buying pads. It spent billions buying what? The same you're going to see now. Allocation has been given to the judiciary. The question is, whose justice? Are we looking at national welfare or individual welfare?
And I love an addition to that,
Robert. Speaking of the cost of judiciary, the one point 2 billion shillings that is going to actually be cast in completion of this process, if it does get completed in time, within the time frame. They're going to be coming back. I know, even the 1.2 I feel won't be enough, because the challenges of COVID-19 and the cost of actually litigating and having the judiciary functioning fully under these circumstances, the cost has really gone up. But then it now comes back to the question in that regard: when does politics serve political good other than the cost of the public good?
Well, if I'm to give you my opinion, my true sentiment on that, now I want us to do a comparison that will give us a good answer. When you go to states that are led by monarchical approach, like the UK, you realize administration is more important than politics. And I can repeat that without fear of contradiction. Welfare administration, let me add, is more important than political administration. Let me go to other democracies. Go to countries like Switzerland. Let me talk about countries which have made a stance in welfare, in what we call state welfare, that everything, good services are there. Go to Norway, go to Australia. That they have valued welfare administration than political administration. Now, in third world countries, the reverse is true. Our political cost, administrative cost, is the most expensive tool which we spend money on as government. And it is evidence. Look at the kind of cars they drive, look at the fuel, look at the offices, look at their salaries. You can imagine members of parliament earn over 35 million a month. And that is, then they have cars. What am I saying? The political administration cost versus the welfare cost, national welfare cost. Now, versus what you're saying, the effect of political administration in the country versus
the output.
That's the thing. That do we look at the money we put in political administration in a third world country like Uganda vis-a-vis what we get out of political administration?
Perhaps that's those are the loopholes, actually. Like, you know, officers of the IDG should be able to sit down.
It is a political office.
It's a political office.
You see, Priscilla, one thing we must understand is that when we chose to walk the walk of democracy, first, I agree with Felix saying what has been our priority. We've made politics very expensive, administration very expensive, but it's just a choice we've chosen. We can still, as Ugandans, choose a reverse.
Say what?
We can still choose. Why am I saying so?
What is the
For
reverse?
example, when we talk about the law, even if I get to this briefly, you'll find that this petition, if a person is even if it's proved that, yes, you reached an election, you're eligible to stand in the next.
So what should be the reverse?
So you say that is not deterrent. So we must sit and say, okay, we've made politics very expensive in this country. How do we ensure we change the trend? I'll give you an example, brief, that even happened in Uganda. Recently, we had LCA elections, and we chose a system of lining behind, you know, queuing.
What was the rationale? There was no money.
At the end of the day, when it was being passed in Parliament, they looked at how expensive we had planned to spend on LCA elections. That was one method that was reducing our expenditure as a country. When we look at priorities, like Felix said, we give iPad, there is data, we look at how much we cars and all these are choices that we can see as a country and say no. Why this has become expensive and everyone now hopes to be a member of parliament? What if we decide to tone down on how much this
Robert, when you say we as a country sit down, me are seated down surely, but none of us can actually do something about it. Now that's where the challenge stands. That the officers, the ministries and the overseers of what we are talking about here this morning, that have the power to actually change some of these things, are not doing so, and which then brings us back to the same point of the cost of them not making these decisions
to reduce expenditure.
Oh my God.
They are thinking of things that way. So why can't we think in that direction as well and say no? We are spending so much on cost of political administration, yet their relevance may not be that much to us. We are craving for more districts.
The president said we have surplus. Perhaps he also included money. Perhaps we just have some money.
When the president says so, even in terms of finances, It's all about our priorities.
Okay. But you see,
Felix,
and our decisions that we take. Very painful.
In response
we need to take
Felix.
these decisions.
Yeah, I would want to just pick an addendum from what Robert is saying. You see, political style matches government style of governance. It matches, like it's a link. Political style, style of governance, but all that, what is the intention of our government? What is what you call the uniform vision of and put the government in place, NRM. What is the uniform vision of NRM? Now, all these things will fall within. The problem we are seeing, the reason why I brought to you the analogy of political administrative costs versus national welfare costs is because the true agenda respects more political. That's why you'll see His Excellency will tell you, I need to add on my ministers. You saw that happening. The Parliament will say it will grow from 400 to 500 and what?
And in the next 5 years,
now,
after 2025,
the same government will tell
still continue growing.
The same government will tell you, I need more than 100 RDCs. The same government will tell you, I have over how many presidential. All those are political. I want us to look at the aspect of welfare administration.
Okay.
When money like a Nyonyintono money is disbursed, parish model, whatever, what is disbursed, what is the administrative interest that we put on it, like what we are putting on these other political? Because the reason that these things fail, that our administrative interest in terms of a welfare nation is not vivid like the political interest. Simply that.
Thank you so much, Felix, and thank you so much, Robert, for your contributions. We do have some messages that are coming in this very same regard. The Electoral Commission and the judiciary and the current leading government are to blame from this person's perspective. It seems to me that these two bodies, that is the Electoral Commission and the judiciary, don't work independently. Illegal practices take place and the judiciary pays a blind eye. The same election mistakes are made every election year. That's correct. And the government has raised no alarm in this regard, believes in bribery and money, among other things. Well, we'll be continuing looking at your opinions later on. Our time here is fast spent. We now get to look at the tabloids and what they are saying this morning. But as we close up this conversation, Mbale High Court will handle civil division, and Luwero Kampala High Court will handle Arua High Court will also handle some cases. Fort Portal High Court, Gulu High Court, Jinja High Court to handle some cases. Kabale, Lira High Court, Masakama, Sindi, Mbara are some of the courts that are.
When the public
my time is not allowing me.
We are not mentioning the judges because you can bribe them.
Which is okay. The judge is a judge, whether it's the
but we can't mention them now. We can't mention them now.
Thank you so much for being with us. The newsreel will be right back for the tabloids.
Experience 100% 4G speeds across Uganda with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi available at 123,000 shillings only. It comes with 15 GB free for 1 month. Visit the nearest Airtel shop, device selling shop or Airtel online shop. www.airtel.co.ug/broadband-discover. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by
authentically symbolic and insightful.
We should work so hard to evacuate this power.
Behind the Headlines, every Wednesday at 10 p.m. with Charles Odong Talk,
was brought to you by.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send, and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Hello, every morning we make sure we spice up your mornings with relevant information as you go about business during the day. It's now time we give you information, some of the catchy stories in today's dailies. I have the new vision and the big headline there. Over 50 Ugandans arrested in South Sudan. That is, this follows an impromptu checkpoint by police that is on or over visa fee. Still, the new vision brings you, that is the return of our gold medalist, that is Joshua Cheptegei, Pelsi Chemtai, on arrival to Entebbe, and the journey to Koro, where we know they will be meeting also the head of state, and of course there will be some handshake there to welcome them from, that is Tokyo, Japan. Museveni names Chan Okwirye as new deputy IGG. And regarding the war and the virus, that is hundreds rush for COVID-19 jab. Indeed, do not miss this opportunity. Please, it's just a little time in the line, but you ensure you get that life-saving jab for you if you qualify. The centers gazetted are well known now, or you can find out from the authorities and get yourself that COVID-19 jab. Still, the new vision brings you Senior 4 Biology, Chemistry, Geography, and Senior 2 English, plus a free, that is total copy for you. Yes, nursery schools are now closed, but still there is something. Then how Vision journalists exposed Dubai slave market. There is also a story there for you in the new vision. And the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaji's message on COVID-19, which is very clear: protect yourself from COVID-19 by doing the following: regular wash of your hands, wearing your mask, keeping your social distancing, getting vaccinated, avoiding crowded places, and staying at home, and avoid handshakes and hugging.
Now, with the Daily Monitor, court starts hearing poll cases of at least 104 MPs. Now, of course, homecoming, a heroic return of Olympic legends there, and beating COVID-19. Nakasero Market was my hospital. Homes, of course, in the homes pull out, the rains are here. Get rid of mosquitoes safely. Now, 21 million scramble for 350 vaccine doses. Now, inside the papers, they give you a photo from the archives of Dorcas Nzikuru, who won gold in the women's 3,000 meters. That is during the World Championships in Helsinki, Finland. That was in 2005. And MP Zake wins torture case, awarded 75 million. And UPDF on high alert over fresh Sudan crisis there. Now today in history, Amin appoints Ibingira UN envoy, and Oscar-winning performer Robin Williams dies at 68.
Looking at the new vision, we begin with tracking Uganda in terms of COVID-19. New confirmed cases 80. Then positivity rate at 4.2%. New deaths stand at 4, and total deaths so far is 2,812. Step in the right direction. Symptoms that require for you to seek medical attention, for the earliest the better, that is fever, cough, shortness of breath, sore throat, and headache. Today in history, it was on this very date, August 11th, but the year 1941, when Amin named Ibingira UN ambassador. Also on this very date, but the year 2001, Mugabe blasts the West. And there's so much regarding twins. The new vision gives you more of that. What is the twin rate in Uganda? How are you doing there? So there's more of that. Then fact or myth, is fever the first symptom of coronavirus infection? The experts give you the answer there.
Now in sports, Daily Monitor Sports, now homecoming, we see there camp celebrations. There were no significant chants or delights at Entebbe International Airport after authorities blocked relatives from reaching the medalists from 2020 Olympics. There, of course, they also give you a count on how Uganda did in the Olympics, and we stand at the 36th place, where we have 2 gold medals, 1 silver, 1 bronze, altogether 4 medals. Of course, they also give you other African countries, like in the likes of Kenya, South Africa, Egypt, and Ethiopia. But also Lionel Messi's Barca exit, and they give you how he was triumphantly accepted in their Paris. Now, same old financial woes highlight FOFA UPL club meeting, and coach is happy despite tough return to Atona Basketball League. Now money, no obstacles as PSG reunites Messi with Neymar.
In the new vision still, it is the return of our stars from Tokyo that dominates. That is the sport in the new vision. Heroic return, where it is hundreds line streets to welcome home Olympic stars. That is our special ones returning home, where we see Uganda's medalists Jacob Chiplimo, Joshua Chiptegei, and Peltz Chemtai wave at crowds along the way to Kampala, minutes after their arrival from Tokyo Olympic Games. But remember, these and more, Ruben Pima Kasera will be here to give you all the details in the world of sports and those catchy stories in that arena. But I see Priscilla ready to take you through. That is a bit of some of the messages that are coming in, but please keep them coming in, and she's ready now to read them out. Over to you, Priscilla.
Much, Robert. We just want to see some of your reactions to a poll question, which was very simple. Who, in your opinion, is to blame for all these wrongs that we're seeing in the election process? And we do have some responses here. Good morning. Away from protecting our jobs, we all know the truth that the election committee, judges, and all concerned belong to a party. That's why justice and fairness will never be met unless God intervenes. Now, by the time a person leaves the matters of intervention to God, that means that we are failing as leaders. We look at money more than walking in the light. Well, thank you so much for your responses. We do have another person here, Mark Joshua from Kamwenge. Ugandans themselves are to be blamed for love of money that made the polls meaningless. The love of money seems to be the root cause of evil, goes the saying. That's very, very interesting. We do have another message here. Electoral Commission is the one on the wrong side. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your contributions in there. Now, speaking of sides, this side of UBC at exactly midday today, we're going to be bringing you a live broadcast with His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, as he will be receiving the Olympian team that has just completed Tokyo 2020 in Japan. And he'll be receiving them at Kololo Independence Grounds. So it's a ceremony that is going to be live broadcasted across all our platforms here at Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, both on TV and on radio. So look out for that at exactly midday. But at exactly 7:37, we now get to look at traffic and where the traffic stands in some parts of the central region. We want to look at junctions that seem to be highlighting, picking up on red zones, and want to see what is actually causing that challenge on flow of traffic in that area code. I will start with the junction here that is most convenient to all because it brings in trade from the eastern part of Uganda. And that is the Ginger Road traffic lights, where you do have red zones appearing on either side that is bringing in traffic or cross traffic here. But because they're traffic lights, one, they help, but usually around this time, it's the traffic officers that manage this traffic. However, there's a tendency of holding this traffic line to the straight of up to 10 minutes. And so if you have a business that you must be doing, you want to find alternative routes. Now, alternatively, in case you are coming in maybe from Nakawa, you're coming in from Bugolobi, you want to get into the heart of the city, but because of this traffic, you might end up coming into your meeting or your appointment late, and you don't want to be known to be a late comer. The alternative route that is there is when you access the Airtel roundabout, you get to use Centenary Lane. This means you enter Centenary Park, and so there's that tarmac road that takes you around the park and drops you right at Oasis Mall. And there at Oasis Mall, you actually get to join the Oasis roundabout, and Oasis roundabout will give you access to Nile Avenue. You have access to Speak Road, and then that way you can be away from the jam that stretches from Ginger Road onto Kampala Road. That would be a jam alternative route that you want to consider. But back to the red zones, of course the Airtel roundabout is having red zones, collecting traffic from Wampeo, Kololo, Nakawa, bringing traffic from Bugolobi, but also trying to disperse it off into the heart of the city. Going back to other red zones that we could be seeing here, there is another red zone I'm seeing has a very long straight within the central business area, and that is where you have the golf course. Yusuf Lude is having red zones for traffic that is heading to Yusuf Lude, and that is Mulago, or alternatively heading into Kamocha through the Acacia Lane. But you also do see a long straight of red zone coming in from the valley up until the traffic lights there. So that means that so many people that are coming in from the Nakawa area codes, that's Ntinda, Bukoto, Kamocha, are trying to beat the jam on the Kira Road by actually coming through Acacia Lane and connecting through this particular area code, which is causing a lot of traffic coming in from that area. If we are to follow the straight on the Acacia Avenue, you get to see that this road actually is newly constructed, and so there's barricades within the middle of the road, so traffic on either side stays on that side. You won't be experiencing overtaking. However, I recently passed there and I saw something very interesting. During peak hours, especially in the evening, while you have traffic that is heading to Acacia, there's some vehicles heading to Acacia, but they were on the wrong side of the road. They were using the road that brings in traffic from Acacia, connecting them to Nakasero. And I found that peculiar, that even when they've drawn a line for you physically on the road, you can't go past this to affect traffic on the other side. Some Ugandans are just being so unreasonable. So traffic, please put that into consideration. If you can, put cameras so that we can get these people who are causing a lot of challenges on the road, misusing the road. Following the Acacia Road, it's going to put us into Kamocha, and in Kamocha we don't have much road on Kira Road that we are seeing, except of course this interaction where you do have the petrol station, the City Oil petrol station. Now this road is also under construction, but I think works are about 70%, if that's how KCCA would call it. Now they've put a little mini roundabout. However, there's not consideration that there's so many vehicles that access that mini roundabout. So it's one car at a go. I think they would have to consider widening it to allow room for at least 2 cars to go at a go. Now, because of 1 car at a go and it's a roundabout, it's definitely changing how traffic is flowing on Kira Road at this particular point, and it's causing more jam than ever. Connecting to Kayunga Road, Mawanda Road, that's where you also do see some jam coming through in that direction. Away from that, we get to then see Kira Road and how it's looking like this morning in terms of traffic. And into Kamocha city center, you don't have much traffic that we're picking up there up until it drops us at the Kira Road police station. Now, this is where you do have the Kira Road police station, and you do have some traffic lights here. There's traffic coming in from Lugogo bypass or going to Lugogo bypass. Also traffic coming in from Tinda, Vukoto, Chisasi, and everyone that stays in this area called Kulambiro, accessing the city center through Kira Road. And for this morning, you don't see much jam except for the one that is actually within the straight of the traffic lights. Now, the orange zone here is also the very same connecting red orange zone to Kira Road, meaning that there are many vehicles that are accessing this route, meaning that possibly they are not going by the traffic lights but by the conducting of the traffic officer who's managing the traffic on this particular lane. Away from that, we then get to see the rest of Kira Road into Vukoto, past Kabira Country Club. You get to see there's not so much traffic there. We enter into Ntinda by Vukoto Road, and you get to see that there's stretches around UMC Victoria Hospital that are actually causing a lot of traffic jam there. There's also this nice bend here into the valley that brings in a lot of traffic from residential areas, either upper side of Ntinda or lower side of Ntinda, which now brings us into Ntinda Trading Center. And for Ntinda Trading Center, surprisingly, there's no indication of major jam that is taking place in this area. Much as it's a business central area for people, the routes seem to be clear as of this morning, and that is at 7:44. I don't know what the case will be at exactly 8 o'clock, but also I think because children are not going to school, usually that has been the biggest factor. There's so many schools within this trading area, and that has been causing a lot of jam. But for today, it looks clean. Equally, the Ntinda Chisasi stretch is also looking clean and doesn't reflect any jam hicks in there, except up to the roundabout. Of course, the roundabout is being constructed on, but we were promised that anytime now we will have those roundabouts reopening up to connect the bypass, northern bypass to the southern bypass, and the circuit should be complete anytime round. However, works on the Kampala flyover have been slower. There was an inspection by the ED of KCCA, and the report comes out that they're actually being rather slow and away from the planning. Now, that means that we're going to be seeing more jam actually being affected within that particular area, where you do have formerly Queensway, and then you have traffic in Zambia, traffic from Entebbe Road, and traffic to the central through Entebbe Road connecting to either Ginger Road or Kampala Road, but even more so downtown Kampala, because the taxis are back now on the road. And so the earlier you actually use that route, if it's your access route into the city, the better for you not to sweat in the car while your window is up, because you're fearing they might take your phone, rob you in one way or another, things like that. Anyway, that is way beyond traffic. We do continue with Mola Kenyana on weather and nature.
Thank you very much, Priscilla, and good morning to you. Good morning to you all watching us at home or in your offices. Well, it is time now to look at our prospects in terms of weather. Well, I can tell you what I have here is the picture of the satellite, what is looking ahead over our country right now, and different weather conditions that are going on. Now, I'll explain that in just a bit. First, I want to take you through our forecast for next week. Now, this forecast is coming in from East Africa Hazard Watch, and that is from ICPAC, showing us what is likely to happen starting from today, 11th of August, up to the 18th of August 2021. Now, From what I can see, we do expect rain still, mostly across northern Uganda and West Nile. Look through on the deep green colors. That is where we expect more rainfall. And what we have there is mostly dominating West Nile, still northern Uganda, and parts of the Karamoja region. However, the extreme end of the Karamoja region is in the yellow and orange colors. That means that there is going to be reduced activity. But I'm realizing consistency across West Nile. This is the area where we've had more rainfall for even last week, and also ever since we started August, actually, this area has been performing really well in terms of rainfall. Now we see northern Uganda having more pickup for rain, for wet weather conditions. And also it is interesting to see that we now see in the green colors we have eastern Uganda as well as Mount Elgon Highlands. Well, we've been having rains across this area of Mount Elgon Highlands. However, now we see that we will see more for this area. That includes parts of Mbale, Bududa. This is where we have the green color. Now also the green colors where we expect more pickup in wet weather conditions. We do have midwestern Uganda and also parts of southwestern Uganda. This is where we have Fort Portal, we have Masindi in that area, we have Ntoroko here, we do have Chegegwa as well, Chenjojo, this area still in the green color, expected to have a pickup in wet weather activities. That is up to the 18th of August. But also take a look at the yellow colors and orange across the Choga region. That area will still be having wet weather conditions. However, we do expect only light rains. There is a reduction over that area. But also looking at the the Rwenzori region, we do have Kasese in the orange and yellow zones. That means that we will have reduced wet weather activities. However, southwestern extreme, southwestern Uganda, that is where we have Kabale Highlands, Kigezi region, we are seeing some green, meaning that there's going to be a pickup in wet weather activities over that area. Now also for Lake Victoria Basin, that is where Kampala comes in, we do have Entebbe, Wakiso in this area, still in yellow and orange color, meaning that there's going to be reduced wet weather activities. Most of the rains we will be having over this area are likely to be just light rains. But also we do have open white here across the western parts of Lake Victoria. That is where we have Masaka. That area is really expected to have reduced wet weather activities, actually to no rainfall for this week. But also look at Mbarara there. This is an area where we've had completely reduced wet weather activities, but we see it in orange and yellow colors, meaning that there is going to be a pickup in wet weather activities. However, it will be mostly in light quantities. Now, more of the forecast that we have for likelihood of heavy rains actually across northern Uganda, but still in the light is the West Nile and the central part of northern Uganda, which is where we have Gulu, we have Lira. That area should look out for more rainy conditions and likelihood of flash floods, as most of those rainy conditions could be much more compared to what we've been seeing in terms of our normal amounts over that area. Now, looking ahead on what we have today over our satellites, we did start off with that rain system across the islands of Lake Victoria, but much of that was just over the islands. It didn't make through across the Lake Victoria Basin. However, that system is still building, and most likely it will be heading westwards, that is towards the western parts of Lake Victoria Basin, but moving southwards. Also, we do have those rainy conditions starting to form up across Mbarara and much of southwestern Uganda, and also those are dissipating now, starting to move away, but at least that was giving us some light rains across southwestern Uganda. Right now, it is only mostly cloudy conditions. We do have one that is forming, that is across the Choga region. That is a rainy system. We did start off with those rains over there, and the system is still there. Most likely, those rains will continue into the morning. Now also we have more cloudy conditions developing, that is across Mount Elgon Highlands, as well we have Mbale, and also across Midwestern, Hoima, Masindi, still cloudy conditions. That area can look out to have at least light rains this morning. Also for southwestern Uganda, where we have Kabale Highlands, there are some of those few rains that actually started off this morning, but what we're seeing there is that most of them are now just dissipating into cloudy conditions. Now Karamoja region, right there, we do have cloudy conditions, but there is some system that is likely to bring us just a little bit of rains across this area, but much of the morning will be covered with mostly intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions. Very clear skies for now across central northern Uganda. That is where we have Gulu, Padel, Lira. That area is still having sunny conditions even as we speak, and also West Nile, northwestern part of the country, across Yumbe, we are having sunny skies even as we speak, but we do expect intervals of cloudy conditions as the day goes by. Also with sunny conditions is midwestern and also parts of southwestern Uganda, Fort Portal, Toroko. That area is having mostly sunny conditions as we speak. Even for Kampala, we are still having those mostly clear skies, but with intervals of cloudy conditions. But we'll go ahead and take a look at our forecast this morning just to be sure which areas are expected to have mostly rainy conditions, but across the country most of the areas are dealing with intervals of cloudy conditions. Now those conditions will change later in the afternoon, as I will also be taking you through what we expect in terms of weather in the afternoon from what I can see from the projections by the satellite and also different model projections. But for now, we'll take a look into our morning forecast across different areas within the country. We start off with the Central Lake Victoria Basin. That is where we have Kampala, Entebbe, Wakiso and Mukono. We are forecasting light rains. Those will be over a few areas, and temperatures likely to be at a cool 25 degrees centigrade. Looking at what we have across central northern, temperatures will be at 26 degrees centigrade, expecting light rains over a few areas. Well, eastern parts of central, that is where we have Ruwero, Wobulenzi, we are forecasting a mixed clouds and sunshine. Temperatures likely to be at 27, quite a warm morning over there, and that could only get higher as the day progresses. Well, for eastern Uganda, where we have Soroti, Katakwi, Amoria and Kumi, we are forecasting also a mix of clouds and sunshine. Light rains are in the forecast for that area. Temperatures likely to be at 25 degrees centigrade, starting off with a chilly morning as well across eastern Uganda. Well, the eastern parts of Lake Victoria, where we have Jinja, we have Tororo, Busia and Iganga, we are forecasting isolated showers. Those will also be close to 20% of the area seeing these rains. Temperatures forecasted to be at 26 degrees centigrade. Quite a pleasant morning over there. And a cold morning is forecast across Mbale, Bududa, Buko, that is the Mount Elgon Highlands. We do expect temperatures to be at 23, also likely to have those light rains again across that area. Cloudy systems are already developing, so you can expect to have those rains coming your way this morning across Mount Elgon Highlands. We'll look at southwestern Uganda, where we have Bushenyi, Rubirizi, we have Mbarara, Ibanda in that category. We are forecasting also light rains across that area. Already some of those rains are being experienced as we speak right now across that region, but temperatures likely to be at a cool 25 degrees centigrade over that area. Well, the western parts of Lake Victoria, which is where we have Masaka, Kalisizo, Sembabule, Rengo, we have Raka in that category. We are forecasting light rains this morning, but at a pleasant 26 degrees centigrade. And most of those will be continuing into the afternoon across several places. Now also in our forecast, looking at the projections that we have over different models, we are saying that most of these rains could actually continue into the afternoon. From the models I can see, we do have more rainfall coming in across northern Uganda, Kitgum, still with the yellow and green zones. Can look out to have more rainfall across parts of northwestern Uganda, where we have Arua. That area is also likely to have a pickup of wet weather conditions within the afternoon. Take a look at Hoima there, Masindi also likely to have more rains developing over there, and also across the Rwenzori region in the afternoon expected to have some rainfall. That is Fort Porto, Kasese there also having the yellow and blue colors. That is where we expect to have rains. Take a look at Mount Elgon Highlands. Still those rains expected to continue into the afternoon, where we have red, yellow into the blue zones according to our model projections for afternoon weather. We do have one also still for evening across Uganda. We're looking at more rains picking up across northwestern Uganda. That is where we have Yumbe, that is where we have Arua. That area can expect to have rain conditions within the afternoon. Also across central north, that is where we have Gulu, also for Padel. That system might actually get to your area. That place can expect to have more rains within the afternoon. And same for the Karamoja region to the extreme north here. We do expect to have wet weather conditions over there. Kabong, that area can expect to have some light showers, and still Mount Elgon Highlands in the forecast showing us rainy conditions later in the afternoon. But also looking at the central part of the country and also central Lake Victoria Basin, we do expect to have scattered actually. And looking at Kabale Highlands, that area can expect to also have light rains. That is in the yellow and blue colors there. That is what we have in terms of our weather that we are expecting this afternoon. Now, if you are really leaving home and maybe going to different areas across the country, you might need to take note of this forecast and know whether to actually carry an umbrella or carry a jacket, because it could actually be raining there and it gets cold. Well, that is all from me this morning. We do have Good Morning Uganda agenda coming up, and please be sure to follow us on our social media platforms. We're also streaming live on YouTube. That is UBC Television Uganda. My name is Molen Kenyana. I want to wish you a good morning.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body, because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Nature that nurtures our life on Earth determines the geographical surrounding that should be protected and preserved by the community.
This is the time we partner with UBC and protect the environment.
Our Environment is a program that will showcase the importance of human responsibility in a healthy environment, that is to say, conservation, waste management and recycling, disease prevention, biogas, to mention but a few.
Support the program Our Environment on UBC.
Inspiring Uganda.
Echa COVID-19 kijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
Uganda, today is a great day to work towards your dreams. Dial *185 *7 hash and select savings to save as low as 500 Ugandan shillings on regular savings or 250,000 Ugandan shillings for fixed deposits. Airtel Money Super Saver is powered by KCB Bank Uganda. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless. T's and C's apply.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by
Authentically symbolic and insightful.
We should work so hard to evacuate this power.
Behind the Headlines, every Wednesday at 10 p.m. with Charles Odongto,
was brought to you by.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send, and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning once again, and in case you've just joined us, this is our morning show, Good Morning Uganda, and we are here every weekday from 6:30 till 9. So please make it a date with us, set your alarm so that you begin your day with a very informative morning show that spices up your morning. Once again, I'm Robert Kirabo Nyonyintono, and welcome to Good Morning Uganda Agenda. Today, we're going to be discussing an issue that concerns Ugandans in the fight against poverty and, of course, promoting economic development at parish level. Government of Uganda has had a number of initiatives aimed at empowering people and improving their livelihood. These range from wealth creation, youth entrepreneurship. We've seen women empowerment, NUSAF, right from Ntandikwa. There's so much that you mentioned. However, this time round, now government wants to go closer to you watching this show, to you, the ordinary Ugandan, and have such projects at the parish level. And that is what we refer to as the parish development model. This commenced on the 1st of July and will run for the next 5 years till June 2026. With me, I'm honored and privileged to host a man whom I believe is at the center of this, and that is none other than the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government, Benjamin Kumanya. Kumanya, you're most welcome to our studios.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you, viewers. I am Benjamin Kumanya, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government, and I'm happy to be here to be able to discuss with the viewers on this whole idea of the parish development model.
Well, this is a new idea, and of course, we know Ugandans are eager to know what it's all about, how they stand to benefit, how even they're going to be part of this. Let's begin by briefly describing or unearthing the whole issue regarding parish development model. To an ordinary Ugandan, what are we going to be discussing?
Viewers, thank you very much, moderator. The parish development model is one of those government initiatives to consolidate all the efforts that the government has been doing to empower the population, but also strengthen them and address issues like household incomes and the welfare of the people of Uganda. Now, why Parish model is, we call it a last mile project, a last mile strategy, because since 1987, the issue of decentralization, when the first, the statute number 9 of 1987 was created to empower the local people to govern themselves. And the structure was put in place starting from the district up to the village level. And portfolios were created to address a number of issues. This now culminated into statute number 15 of 1993, which later had decentralization being incorporated in the Constitution of 1995, and then later we did the Act number 1 of 1997. Now that was the governance component. But after finishing that, the whole issue was that the government should now put in place socio-economic interventions that will help the population to address their welfare issues. Now a number of them have been put in place, one after the other, but the parish development model is presenting a new strategy where, one, we're going to be using the people who are already existing in the civil service structure, in the local government setup, but also in the elected officials structure, and most importantly at the parish level. I want to tell viewers that in our centralization policy, because the PDM, among the objectives, is one, to deepen decentralization, but two, to cause acceleration of social economic transformation at the local level. Now, why are we using the parish, or why are we calling it the parish development model? It's because the parish is the last level of government. When you come from the district, you go to sub-county, town council, the last level of government is the parish level, where we have a parish chief. And all of us viewers, you know the importance and the strategic relevance of the parish chief in the yesteryears, because the parish chief, one, knew all the members in a parish, because he or she was responsible for registration of birth, death, but was also responsible for migration outside the parish and coming into the parish, and many other functions, including sanitation, including all those issues. So this last point of government now is going to be the center of business for the parish development model. Now, then also, the parish has a parish council. Who is in the parish council at the parish level? The parish council is composed of the village executive committee members at each village. They comprise together what we call a parish council. And the parish council has a parish executive committee. And I want to share with viewers that one of the most important strategic things is that there have been portfolios that have been lying there, having been captured by our decentralization policy, which we have not been utilizing when we are doing these government efforts and interventions to address issues affecting the population.
Well, having given us that rich background and of course the relevancy of parishes, that we believe, yes, maybe this has not been properly put to use. Let's understand, I won't talk about the parish development model, given us that history, but how are you going to use this model to transform people's livelihood, the economic aspect of it, improving their welfare, improving production? We know it's based on 7 pillars. Briefly take us through these 7 pillars, how they are going to cause this transformation that maybe other programs may not have reached the ground roots to cause this transformation.
Yeah, thank you very much, moderator. The parish development model is premised on 7 pillars, and these pillars are all very strategic. The first pillar is about production, processing, and marketing, and supporting the whole value chain. So support is going to be given at the parish level from, I normally call it from seed to shelf, that all efforts are being done by all agencies of government who have been around support at parish level production, which is right from seeds. You are talking over extension services, you are talking over agro-processing, value addition, and later talking about marketing to make sure that you support the population. This will address a number of questions. Why are we having, for example, inputs and seeds which probably do not come to the right fruition? Because other components, like extension, were not directly linked. Issues like agro-processing were not directly linked. So this pillar now will ensure that at each parish, all agencies are going to come together, all MDAs, civil society organization, private sector, to support that pillar of production, processing, marketing as one of the pillars of.
And who is going to be the pivotal person or the coordinator of all these activities? Because we know, PS, we know that there's a challenge at parish level most of the times in terms of manpower, knowledge, exposure, may not be that very much.
Now, let me just first finish quickly, navigate through the pillars. The second pillar is infrastructure and economic services. There are many agencies have been doing roads and other economic services, water for production. This pillar now will make sure that all agencies will come together and use the parish as a level to deal with that one. The third pillar is financial inclusion, whereby we shall have a parish revolving credit, which will be available to the households in a parish. They will go through a whole process, and that's how I will explain the pivotal governing structure. The fourth pillar will be social services, whereby at the parish level, all agencies responsible for social services will be working together to ensure that delivery of social services is moving in the right direction. Then of course, the fifth pillar will be parish-based information management system. Why many of the programs got challenges, we would not base it on information system that is based at the parish. So that is going to be a pillar. Then we shall have a pillar of mindset change. That has also been another challenge. That's why PDM is bringing in a new thinking, a new chapter, because mindset change, the population, the actors, the auxiliary support services will all be brought to have the right mindset to support socio-economic development, support service delivery, support progress. Then there will be a pillar of governance and public and administration, and in this pillar is where we are going to come into the pivotal force that will take lead in this one. One, the parish chief is going to be the key technical person and of course a secretary of a parish development committee. Now, in the last years, we upgraded the qualifications of a parish chief from U7 to U5, which is a diploma level. What was the reason? We wanted an officer who can internalize, appreciate, and understand government policy and issues of service delivery. We wanted somebody who can supervise, disseminate, and coordinate government policy, and somebody who can get feedback and prepare reports and feed the policy review process. So the parish chief is going to be at the center, as the administrator of the program, but also as the secretary of the parish development committee. There's going to be a parish development committee at every parish. Who is in this parish development committee? First, the chairman of the parish will be the chairman of the parish development committee. The vice chairman,
political head, most of.
Yes. The vice chairperson will be the vice chairperson of the parish development committee. And then we will draw members of the parish executive committee, and you are going to see the beauty of the portfolios we are calling in. The first portfolio is the Secretary for Production and Environment Protection. We have been talking about production. We have been talking about agro-processing. But there is a portfolio there, a person who is a farmer, who could be a trader, who had been left behind of actually participating and directing these processes. So that Secretary for Production is going to be a member. There is a Secretary for Information, Mobilization and Education. That was a portfolio put in place to make sure that information from government or from the people can be disseminated upwards or downwards to the population. Then we shall bring in the Secretary for Youth, Elderly, Women, and Disabled. The most beautiful thing with those secretaries at parish level is that they are the chairpersons of the councils of those interest groups at the parish level. So once you have them, then you have everybody. So that will be the administrative structure, the pivotal that will be championing the implementation of the parish development model. But also, because it's going to use the existing government structures, all structures at the sub-county, there is what we call a sub-county technical planning committee. This is the heads of departments or officers at sub-county, chaired by the sub-county chief, form a technical planning committee. We'll be involved. At the district, we also have the district technical planning committee, and it has all heads of departments. They will be involved.
Well, this all sounds like gold. Actually, it is very rosy, and people will look at it as, yes, if implemented, sure, we expect to see transformation at all levels. But we've always had a challenge with government programs. Many of them sound very good. Many of them, when you look at the paperwork, you're expecting maybe 100% in terms of meeting the desired intention. How have you safeguarded this? Because almost every government program, Mr. PS, will give you proper channels of monitoring and accountability. What difference have you done that maybe we can now believe that this is going to make the much desired breakthrough in terms of economic transformation?
Thank you very much. I can mention about 4. The first one, there is political commitment, right from His Excellency the President, Vice President, Prime Minister, Cabinet, members of Parliament, political commitment at all levels. In fact, now, they are always asking for every detail of the parish development model because everybody wants to be part and parcel of its success. The second one is that the emphasis that we shall use the existing structures which are there. The political portfolios are there, the technical people are there, and therefore that commitment to use everybody, including MDAs, we are going to bring together an interministerial committee to make sure that all ministries, departments and agencies are basing now their operations, their stadium, their theater of activities at the parish level. That's another beauty. The third beauty is the involvement of the existing structures at the local level, like the parish level, but also in the Parish Development Committee, we are bringing in civil society and private sector to participate. We are bringing in opinion leaders at the parish, and we are also bringing in the LC1 chairpersons to participate in that Parish Development Committee. So when you have the political commitment, you have now the cohesion or cohesive working together of all the entities of government. You have the mindset change. That's another beauty. That for now, for the first time, we have a whole period mindset change where we are going to make sure that all the people of Uganda at all levels and stratas have been brought into the fulcrum of appreciating an intervention that is going to address the social welfare and social transformation of the people of Uganda. I've also mentioned about another pillar. Actually, the pillars, the way they are structured is one of the most beautiful opportunities we have. The parish-based information system. We have been maybe doing a number of things without having an all-inclusive system of having information coming from the parish level.
Well, we've always talked about information. We know information is power, and this is one of the ways to promote accountability, to promote transparency, and ensure that these projects come to live. But we've always had a challenge that in terms of promoting accountability and holding people accountable. PS, we all know that in most of these programs, people can tell you that this is where we've gone wrong. But the biggest change has been how to hold people accountable. When I look at the 7 pillars, there is one pillar that actually, unfortunately, which I don't think should be key, but when you move around is what they have put as key. That is financial inclusion. When you talk about people, just rush to that. That, of course, giving credit and all that. But at the end of the day, this has been tried elsewhere in this very country, looking at approaching poverty alleviation amongst people. Where is that component that people can know that this is not a program to mess with, and these are levels of accountability?
Thank you. One of the tenets that is going to help us to strengthen accountability is first that all-inclusive involvement of many actors. Okay. And the many actors are the direct beneficiaries of these programs. Many times the system will be structured that they are the receivers and the suppliers, or the ones who are bringing in issues. But the parish development model is developing credit. Will participate in actually processing the applications of the people. So the bit of the PDC, which is the Parish Development Committee, which is all-inclusive, is one of the tenets of ensuring that accountability happens. The people certainly will be their own guards, and they will be able to help. So our job is to make sure information reaches them. We are going to have a massive rollout of dissemination of the information about the parish development model. We have already been on air in 11 local languages through the month of July, informing the population about this program. We have a pull-out which we have been issuing people, which is very detailed. And this one will make sure that once people are aware, because people, once they have information, they will be able to support some of these efforts.
Now that brings me to ask, what stage of implementation are you at? Because I see there are 7 models: production, storage, processing, marketing, then you have infrastructure and economic services, then financial inclusion. What stage of implementation are we now?
First and foremost, the program officially and formally started 1st July. And as I mentioned, in the month of July, we have been out disseminating information to everybody in local languages, 11 local languages on radio stations, and that process is continuing. We produced a pull-out, and we have saturated a number of copies. But we are also currently now preparing 3 documents, which are coming out very soon. The first document is the Parish Development Model Guidelines. That one is coming out very soon. We are also preparing a monitoring and evaluation results framework to take charge of how the program will be evaluated. We are also finalizing a manual on the parish development credit, developing credit, which actually everybody is excited about. So we're going to have a manual, and we're going to have massive implementation of the pillars, including the mindset change. We are already working out on arrangements. But we are also now currently recruiting the parish chiefs. I think when we started in May, we had about 5,400. Now we are about 6,200. So the process is going on, and our target is that by end of September, we should have had all the parish chiefs in place. We are already preparing to train them on data collection. We are going to provide them with equipment at the parish level and at sub-county level to make sure that they can be able to capture and process information so that the feedback mechanism is very, very active. So really we are set, but of course we have to go step by step. So very soon our manuals and guidelines will be out, and we shall have a massive rollout dissemination. We are also going to prepare guidelines for each of the 7 pillars so that each society and actors and stakeholders and practitioners are aware of really the direction and the expected and expectations of each of the pillars of the parish development model.
Well, just remind our viewers that you can be part of this show by sending us a message on WhatsApp, and the number is that is the number will be on your screen, but you can also, that is a 0703. Feel free to send in and we'll be able to respond to that. That is 0709 60 25 92. 0709 60 25 92. That is our WhatsApp number. Please send in your views, your questions as we discuss the parish development model. Uganda, we have about 10,594 parishes. 10,594 parishes. And like the PS said, this is the lowest unit of government's administration. It concerns you. We all come from parishes. So this is a move aimed at fighting poverty, ensuring that we promote, that is commercial agriculture, and so much right from that is the parish level. So please be part of this discussion. We'll read out your questions, your views, your opinions on the parish development model. PS, did we do any benchmarking? Are there countries maybe where this has worked before?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, we did a lot of research internally as government, because this is not new. We are only now improving the efforts we have been putting in place. As I mentioned, we started with governance, we went to rural farmers scheme, we went to other initiatives, but now all of these now are going to talk and get incorporated in the long run in the past development model. So the information and feedback reports and assessment reports and other operational research formed that we needed to improve the systems we have been operating in, which were not in a way working and talking together to be able to talk together under the past development model. But it is also part actually of one of the strategic principles that the president gave to the nation of cohesion. We must now move together. It is actually an opportunity that all efforts that have been taking place in supporting socio-economic transformation initiatives are now going to talk together. They're going to move together and targeting people. Because what has been happening is that many initiatives were targeting the same people. Talking the same language could be incremental at times.
Which some are saying this could be duplication, actually.
Could be. But
why don't we just perfect one bit of it? and having many of them.
So this is a
doing the same
perfection,
thing.
this is an improvement,
Okay.
but with very many beautiful variables like cohesiveness, incorporation, or inclusive, and actually with high levels of stakeholder engagement at all levels. And now using also the structures that are directly linked to the issues we are trying to address. Because when you are dealing with the parish level, you are so close to the people we talk about every day. So this one we are addressing the issue of proximity now. We are going to operate at the nearest point, the people of Uganda, and that is at the parish level.
Well, if there is effective monitoring, supervision, we believe that then this parish development model will do us so much. Then let me also try to look at some of these questions and comments coming in. Hi there, what is the greatest, okay, well, I'm having the PS, Ministry of Local Government, not the Minister. That is a correction. And then, what great presentation, I must say. Thank you to the PS, my brother, for the detailed explanation. My question is, how can an organization working at the grassroots get involved in this initiative? I think it is the way to go. But I didn't get your name. Please kindly let's have your name when you send in your message there. So he's wondering how they can get involved. Then we have, hello UBC, thanks for hosting the PS. For the recruitment of parish chiefs, is this being done in secrecy? I have not seen any adverts. Some from SETA. Please do not call on this line. It's all about WhatsApping. And it's very clear. You just send us text on WhatsApp and we'll be able to read out your message. Patience from Kalangala says, hi there. What a great presentation, I must say. Thank you so much to the PS for giving us that detailed presentation regarding the parish development model that will focus at the grassroots level. I think this is the way to go. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I'll just answer two, which are directly linked to one point. The first one is that the civil society and NGOs who are working there, they are going to be part of the Parish Development Committee, which is going to be processing and supervising and monitoring the implementation of the program. So civil society and private sector actors are part and parcel at that level, and they will be engaged in a number of activities. On recruitment of parish chiefs has always been going on actually. That's why when we started, we had about 5,400 out of 10,000. But now the issue had been the wage, 100% wage for them. So what PDM has done, wage was appropriated by Parliament and allocated, so recruitment is going on as part of the recruitment drive in local governments. And for purposes of emphasis, yesterday, Change Ojo had an advert in the papers. But what I want to emphasize is that recruitment has always been going on. The difference is that now there is wage, and therefore one can recruit. So look out, or find out, you'll find that a lot of recruitments have been going on, but off cuff, I know that yesterday I saw Change Ojo, and probably one or two could also be in place today. So that's what is happening. But it's more on the wage availability, but otherwise, parish chiefs are not going to be recruited on their own because recruitment goes on to fill people who have lived natural exit, to fill vacancies, and therefore the drive is on. But now at least one thing which is clear is that PDM has said we must have 100%. And we are going to have 100%.
Relatedly, I think let's also handle this. Thank you so much for the great discussion. My name is Walombe Walter from Kabong District, and my main concern is on employment of parish chiefs, whereby in some parishes like Kabong, there is a gap in those having diplomas, but most people have bachelor's degrees. My main concern is, can those with bachelor's also be recruited? Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. In the recent past, there has been a drive led by Uganda Management Institute and a number of other institutions to give diplomas. So we need to check, and in case that really, because the advert is for the whole of Uganda. So if Kabongo can't get diplomas in Kabongo, they can come from Ramdat or Nakapilipiliti or Sironko. But if there is a challenge, there is a provision that if you advertise many times and you cannot attract. Then there are processes that can help us to use optional methods of recruitment. So let's get the situation of Kabong so that we can deal with it on a case-by-case basis.
Well, messages are still coming in, and okay, this one sounds a bit harsh, but I'll present it, I'll read it out. It says, just like all lecture, this is too a mere talk and business for thieves. Thanks.
What I can say that it's in order for people to have that kind of mindset, but the difference is that one, the glass is half full, not half empty. Because for sure, the other initiatives have been able to contribute something. If you go in the countryside, you will see some positive. But now we want to do it better. But also, we are going to put in issues like mindset change. We are now recruiting more people to support the process. We are going to deal with parish-based information system. We are putting a governance structure. So with these new innovations that have not been part and parcel of the implementation of other programs, I want to assure viewers that actually, one, it's not mere talk, but two, that the glass is half full. In other words, we are going up. But three, that time will tell. I want to assure viewers that we are committed, and all of us are in it. And therefore, I have every reason to convince the one who asked that question that this time around it's going to work. But we will meet again after some time, and then we can discuss when we have seen that maybe there are issues. But I'm very, very confident that we are on the right track.
We still have, that is Tumwine Butabuzi, a resident of Kasuri, Kampala. Are you doing funding people? It is a credit facility. Do you deal with individuals or groups? Thanks, PS. I think it's talking about, that is Model 7. Are you dealing with groups, individuals? Are you doing funding for people? That is an interesting question that he wants. Then let's also have this. By this, you will employ more citizens. He says this is good because you will employ more citizens. Then we have, hello, thanks for your presentation. What a sustainable innovation mechanism, what sustainable development do you intend to help fund the implementation of the parish development model amidst the ongoing challenges of funding in local government and human resource gaps as well? Moses Albetong.
First on the question of the funding, one, we have said it's going to be all inclusive because any application which really targets socio-economic transformation shall be funded. But details will be dealt with by the Parish Development Committee, which is also all inclusive because it involves everybody. So we want to leave that one. But when we produce the Parish Revolving Credit Manual, it is going to have details on how this will be managed. And we shall, of course, come out and disseminate very, very aggressive and strongly the Parish Revolving Credit Manual. Now, on sustainability, we have said that we are going to use existing systems, we're going to use existing structures, we're going to use the existing budgeting and planning of the country. We are saying all MDAs have been planning to provide, let's say Minister of Water, provide water. Agriculture has been planning many things to provide to the people. Trade has been doing the same. So we are saying that one of the sustainability is that it's a continuation of actually what we have been doing as government. And therefore, government has been around, has been planning, has been appropriating resources. But this time around, we are going to make sure that all our resources are going to be directed. Actually, we call them wealth creation funds. On parish inclusion, we make sure that all the wealth creation funds are going to be directed to supporting this PDM effort, hence supporting the population.
Well, I want to thank you so much, PS. That is Ministry of Local Government. And in the interest of time, please let's have your final remarks regarding the parish development model.
Yeah, thank you very much. My final remark is that we want to call upon viewers and all other stakeholders that actually this is an opportunity for everybody to come in and participate in different ways. People can participate in helping us to propagate the good message, so that whatever we now bring out should be propagated by other actors. Two, to help us and join in when we are doing the mindset change component. And three, to really inform and assure everybody that it's an improvement of the existing government plans and programs in the socio-economic transformation, and therefore we are there, human resources are there, everybody is there, and as long as we are talking the same language, we are moving together, and we have agreed on the ultimate goal, then I'm sure that this will address decentralization. It involves everybody, because remember I have said that when we are using the parish level leadership, we are literally involving the village level leadership.
Everybody is involved.
Everybody is involved.
Well, I want to thank you so much. That is Benjamin Kumumanya, who is the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government, for having found time and explained more regarding the parish development model. You've gotten the information. The success of this program entirely depends on how you involve yourself, promote accountability, because it is coming closer to you. Proximity is what is very important here, and involvement, bring to a pool all services being offered by the government in terms of improving socio-economic welfare of Ugandans. I'll leave you with Ruben Pima to take you through the world of sports. Remember, vaccination is on. Go and get your second jab. If you're a teacher, among those categories, priority groups, please get your jab. And if you're due for the second jab, please, now is the time. Go and get your second jab. Prevention is better than cure. God bless you. See you tomorrow, same time. God willing. Have a blessed day.